Pro Pulling has pulled into Terre Haute, Indiana for an intense night of Pro Street Diesel and Super Stock trucks. The fans have crowded the stands in anticipation of dirt-flying, diesel-spewing Pro Pulling action. The series that brings you outstanding grassroots motorsports has done it again with this episode of Lucas Oil on the Edge. It's over the edge. You don't want to miss it.
Got it tacked up, and if you get too close, you're getting cracked up. Stone cold when I roll, coming out of the hole. Get back, cause I'm out of control.
Welcome to the action track here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Yes, Lucas Oil is in the house, as is the Shy Diesel Extravaganza. We've got two exciting categories coming your way here today, including the Pro Street Diesel trucks and the Super Stock Diesel trucks. These things are definitely the rage. I'll tell you, in any small town, certainly in the Midwest, you cruise along, you'll be surprised. If you're sitting there in your Corvette and some guy pulls up beside you in a diesel pickup truck, you better be careful because they will light you up. Some 1,000 plus horsepower out of some of these vehicles. It's amazing.
And today it's a one-shot deal, baby, to make the field here in the Pro Pulling League. It's a floating finish. No full pulls, no runoffs. It's going to be a weighted sled, and obviously it will get heavy as you make your way to the top end of the racetrack. Pro Street Diesel trucks up first. For more of the action, let's go to the pits and meet up with Jim Trado.
The Airdog 3.0 diesel class is certainly one to watch, as we'll see here in the moment, but really when it comes down to racing, he's got a home court advantage perhaps. He runs for Shy Diesel. Brad Ingram is here, and Brad, I got to talk about this beautiful truck behind us in the 3.0 class. It's got to be a blast to drive.
Yes, it is. Scheid set us up with a new common rail engine. We're making a lot of horsepower this year. Been having a lot of fun at it. My wife, she's been cleaning it all day here, so I need to give her a big thank you while we've been working. We got every employee working for Scheid out here today. So I need to give them all a big shout out. They're all pitch in and help out on the truck, help keeping it going down the track.
Okay, as we kick off the category, we'll start it off with a nice-looking Dodge. This one driven by Josh Mosley. It's called Punishin' for Pleasure.
And one thing you'll definitely see here in this class category are some beautiful, beautiful trucks, all categories for that matter. But this nice-looking gray machine with the tribal flame job is absolutely gorgeous. And once again, just going to be a regular pull right here. And it goes 288.98. That'll be the best for so far here in round number one.
And, of course, the mark to beat here. Again, nice-looking stream of smoke up there. Listening to the RPMs of these trucks will also tell you how good their pull is. If it pulls them down too much, they get out of that torque band, it'll really hurt them here. But a nice, solid start here out of this Dodge, and that'll set a good mark to beat. Remember, you only have one crack at it here today. Whoever pulls that sled the furthest is your winner.
And unlike a number of racing vehicles, these particular engines, if you put one on the dyno, you actually want the torque numbers to be better than the horsepower numbers as a general rule. It torque to get yourself moving and horsepower to keep yourself going.
Alan Kirst here taking a shot at it. Another Dodge out here. A little bit of hop right there at the very end. That'll cost him some distance, but takes over the lead. Excellent job there at over 295 feet.
You're right, as we watch it here, Ken, on the Lucas Oil Products instant replay, the one bad Ram moves around just a little bit to try to find that ultimate traction. And once you get past that about 200 mark and that sled starts making its way to the top, that's when you'll turn that wheel and try to find any traction you can to run that 295-foot mark.
Dodges definitely dominate this category. A couple of Fords in the house and about 5 Chevys. Chris Muse. And you mentioned beautiful trucks before. I mean, this is a gorgeous one. Brand new one as well.
Boy, and he is spinning that motor right there. That's one of the things you got to do, man. Love the lightning bolts.
Not going to have enough to take over the lead, but that is good for second place at 294.72.
Then you can watch it again in instant replay. He starts moving that thing around at about 100 feet. Trying to find those traction spots, get out of those grooves, if you will, on the Lucas Oil Instant Replay. And towards the end, he's right down pretty much the center of the groove, just a touch to the right.
We have a lot of great pulling action coming your way. We're just getting things warmed up, so stay with us.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast is brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. ReadyLift.com. Don't just lift it, ready lift it.
Welcome back to Terre Haute, Indiana for the Shy Diesel Extravaganza and Lucas Oil On the Edge, that is. Yeah, the fans having a great time, and I'll tell you, you might want to catch the average age sitting up there in them grandstands too, because that is a young group of people. They love to come out here, bring their dates out here, have a good time, bring their buddies, and watch some truck pulling.
You are exactly right. As we watch Matt Penn get set to go here, in my town of Peru, Indiana, there are about 7 or 8 of these trucks that run on the street. And as you mentioned, they can pull up next to one of the fastest cars in town and just smoke them.
Another beautiful looking Dodge here. Marked there 293 and change. Won't be enough to take over the lead here. We'll find out if this track could possibly be going away, but you never really know. I mean, it's going to be tight all said and done by the end of the night.
How do you figure the thing out? I mean, a lot of guys like to go out early. Some like to go out late. I think the probably general rule would be that most drivers would like to be early. And there is a gaggle of them here.
All right, Billy de Blasio coming up next, sponsored by XDP.
Another one of those high-spinning, high-winding Dodges. Feels like and sounds like he's got the RPM spinning pretty good here. Oh, then he starts to hopping, but he does move to the top of the pack.
Yeah, beautiful job. 297 at 25 goes right to the top, as you mentioned before. A little bit of hop right there at the very end. That could cost him dearly, but a solid effort.
Very nice looking run. Look at this thing in the GT General Tire instant replay. And I mean, he is right down the middle of the lane. Got down to the top, into the rough stuff, started hopping a little bit, but still goes to the top of the pack here.
All right, Brad Ingram coming up here with the Shy Diesel out of Farring, Illinois. Always a tough truck and a threat to win anytime he shows up.
Yeah, these guys know everything in the world about him, and they're one of the best.
Transfer box slams the front of the sled. Auger bars dig down in, but it doesn't matter. He continues on at 302 and 56. The first one out over 300, and again sets a new mark to beat.
And the sponsor's truck goes to the top of the pack. Watch it in the General Tire instant replay. You're taking a look from the back of the truck to the front of the sled, and you can actually see the tether there, which is the safety tether. But what a beautiful run for the Shy team with fire coming out of the pipes.
More Pro Street Diesel trucks in a moment. Stay with us. The Pro Street Diesel trucks are in the house here at the Shy Diesel Extravaganza. We're at Terre Haute, Indiana, the action track. And we already have a great battle going on here. This is a perfect market for ReadyLift.com, as they are sponsoring this segment as well. These are the people that use their products. And as you can see out here, these trucks are bad to the bone. All right, Kurt Hazley coming up next.
When you talk about the Shy Diesel, folks, in the area of central Indiana, and as far as that goes, the Midwest, you also got to think of this group right here. Shy Diesel and the group at Hazley's, they are tough on building motors as well. 298.62, not good enough.
And I'll tell you, I said something about this track going away before. As you take a look at this ReadyLift.com replay, it is not going away. There's some good, fresh dirt out there with a lot of grip. Another solid run, good enough for second place. A good effort there at 298 plus.
Yeah, it's all about bragging rights between these couple teams. Not just these two, but there's a bundle of them. But Hazley Machine well represented here tonight, as well as the Scheid bunch.
All right, coming up next, Andrew Kinsley, Ranch Hand.
All the way from Pennsylvania. Look at that paint on the front of that baby.
Beautiful, right? I mean, bit of an older model Dodge here, but a Dodge nonetheless.
Got the old cow skull on the front of her.
Boy, he missed the mark by a ton here at 270 and 32. Needed another 30 feet Wonder if something broke right there at the very end of the drive line.
Couldn't really tell. Didn't look like it made quite an immediate and abrupt stop.
Yeah, and you can see that black smoke just kind of lumbering out of that pipe. So RPM's down just a little bit as well. Just didn't have enough steam to play with the boys here tonight.
Yep, just ran out of stuff right there. That's the name of the game, man. Rod Tarr up next. Rochester, Illinois calls this machine the Super Ram.
Boy, you talked about the fire out of the pipe before. There's a really good look at it. That one's burning everything that's inside of it and then some.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of what they really should look like at night. Unfortunately, in this case, about 10 foot falls short Rod Tarr.
Yeah, beautiful replay here again from Ready Lift and nice and straight. I mean, a little bit of front wheel steering action, trying to find some grip. But as you mentioned before, the distance just did not show up. That is the sport of tractor pulling and truck pulling. You have one crack at it, man. You better be ready to nail it out of the box. No second chances out here. There's a look at your final results for the Pro Street Diesel trucks. Congratulations to Brad Ingram, 3:02 and 56. Beat up on the boys hardcore here tonight. Let's get it down to Jim Trado and talk to him.
What a difference a day makes. We talked to him earlier in the day about his chances. Indeed, Brad Ingram delivered in the Shy Diesel truck. This has to be a huge win for you, Brad.
Yes, sir, it is. Very big win for me. I want to thank Shy Diesel and Air Dog and PPL for having us here. But there's 31 of the toughest competitors in the country here tonight. The win here was really good. We couldn't do it without Shy. I mean, they're making a lot of horsepower, and we was able to utilize it all tonight.
So Pro Street in the books. Next up will be the Super Stock Diesel trucks. No, we're not finished. We have a lot more action to come.
We love to hear from our fans. Go to www.facebook.com and become a fan of Lucas Oil on the Edge. Join our OTE private group or like our page. Then post your comments about this Lucas Oil on the Edge episode.
Super Stock Diesel trucks are coming up next here at the Shy Diesel Extravaganza in Terre Haute, Indiana. Ken Stout and Brian Olson calling the action for you. And there's a look at just some of the paint jobs. You know all about that. Of course, the fans are having a blast.
Once again, we'll have a floating finish. It's one, and you are gone on the runs as far as that goes. We'll be featuring 7 drivers here, some 11 in the show. Right now, let's go to the pits and talk to Jimmy Trado.
Well, certainly one of the drivers that's been on the game for a long time, and on the top of it this year is Van Hazley here at Air Dog Super Stock Diesel. And I'm talking to you, Van, about this rock hard Ram truck. It certainly seems to be a beautiful machine. How does it ride?
This year, rock hard Ram, we've had a few frustrations. We come up with a new engine program last winter. We now have more horsepower than we've got tires on the ground. A new problem to have. And But Rock Hard Ram come out on the scene last year. The truck is exactly 1 year old today, and it's a beautiful machine. It is a Barker chassis from Batavia, Ohio. It's got a fiberglass body built by Joe Fry up in Upper Sandusky, Ohio, and then the paint was done in Muncie, Indiana by Dave Burris, and 62-year-old, but he knows how to airbrush.
Yeah, talking about some of the beautiful paint jobs on these trucks, of course, out here. Let's get it going in the super stock category. Shane Kellogg, first one to attack the sled. Gotta have it.
Out of Forest, Ohio, comes the beautiful Dodge. And again, a field primarily dominated by Dodge trucks for whatever reason. And again, that floating finish means you take the best that you can get on one run. And the best we're going to get here is a 289.40.
Yeah, and you could hear that when he started off. I think he was out of the power band here for a good while. But then all of a sudden, about mid-track, which is pretty rare, by the way, that thing really started gaining some steam and came to life.
Perfect analogy, Ken. You could see that doing exactly that in the pipes. And as it made its way, as you said, to the midway point, she was wide open, but too little, too late for a 300-foot pull.
Yeah, you want to get that wheel speed when the sled's at its lightest point with that transfer box, that weight box all the way towards the back. As it comes forward, it pushes those grouser bars underneath the pan into the dirt. So by the time that starts happening, you want your wheel speed up. And good wheel speed here. Unfortunately, all the water is going somewhere other than inside of those cylinders. to keep them cool.
Woo, that baby sounded bad, and then there's fire.
And look at the heat underneath that thing.
Wow.
It is on fire. You're absolutely right.
I got to tell you that I'm not positive, because I'm not standing there, but that looked like that baby had rods come out of it. But watch it here in the Lucas Oil instant replay. Somewhere starts detonating right about there. It looks like it could just be, water or, like the thing's too hot.
Well, they use a water injection, obviously, to keep these things cooled down. The cylinder pressure's cooled down a bit to make more boost, and it looked like he had more water or steam coming out than going in.
Right at the very end, you could pretty well hear the deal. Again, we're not down there standing, unfortunately. However, you can pretty well tell that was a pretty severe amount of damage.
Ken Jones, the Wild Diesel, another beautiful-looking Dodge here. This one called Edge.
All the way from Utah. Wow.
You want to pull against the best, you come to the Lucas Oil Pro Pulling League. That's the deal. So he made the trip. Showing his wares off here. 289 and 40 is the mark to beat, and man, he gets out here and puts on a show for the fans. Unfortunately, not enough to win.
Yeah, spent a lot of money and gas money there. Unfortunately, no luck on the racetrack here. We look again on the Lucas Oil instant replay. Truck moves around quite a bit, a lot of black smoke coming out of it, but again, that perfect mix is if you got a little bit of fire mixed in it as well, but not the case here for the Edge.
So much work, so many man hours going into these vehicles out here. Rock Hard Ram is the name of this truck, driven by Van Hazley.
Yeah, Van is the father of the Hazley gang, and I got to tell you, he's from the hometown of James Dean and the late, great Jim Davis, who was the creator of Garfield, comes Hazley. And I mean, this crew is good.
Real good. All right, 287 and 62. Nice job there. Not enough to take over the lead, but good for second place.
I'm kind of surprised, because, when you're in this part of the state, I mean, if you will, again, it's the Hazleys and the Shides, so to speak, with a whole lot of up-and-comers in the middle.
We're not finished yet. We still have a number of trucks to come.
This Lucas Oil On the Edge telecast has been brought to you by Lucas Oil Products, made in America, sold to the world. General Tire, anywhere is possible. ReadyLift.com. Don't just lift it, ready lift it.
We're at the action track at the Scheid Diesel Extravaganza in the middle of the Superstock Diesel truck category. As expected, a very close battle in this competition. 289 and 40 the mark to beat, 287 and 62 right behind them. And then Ben Miller falls down just a little bit.
And I got to tell you something, there are two lanes at this racing surface that they utilize throughout the course of the couple nights of racing here. But in this case, the diesel trucks here, the Superstock trucks, are utilizing what appears to be just the left lane.
Out of Attica, Indiana, home of the Badlands, comes the Scheid Diesel, driven by Kent Crowder. Keep in mind, Scheid Diesel won the Pro Street category. We'll see if any of that transfers over to this class.
Double pipes coming out of this one, a perfect lead. Down track, baby, he is going to be your brand new leader by 10 feet.
Yeah, that is killing them right there. I mean, that is a bunch in this form of competition.
Now, if you want to take and open a textbook and see a textbook pull right here, you'll do it like you're watching this GT instant replay. The Scheid folks who are sponsoring the event put a driver in their second house truck, and this is what he does, goes to the top of the heap.
Kent Crowder, talk about that run. You almost you got a couple of trucks left. What about your run?
That was an awesome run, but we definitely got a couple strong trucks left back there, so let's see how this ends up.
What's the track like for them as they went, as you made your call, the lane you wanted?
Lucked out there, had a couple trucks tried that left side, worked good for them, but it also gave them a chance to smooth that right side out where we went, and worked out good for us. So,
as much as you try to study the lane you want, how much don't you show the other guys that there might be something there?
We haven't made up our minds by the time we get there, to tell you the truth.
Hey, nice run.
Thank you.
Well, no doubt, Kent Crowder will keep an eye on these last couple of competitors here in the category. Eric Stacy, Smokin' Ya is what the truck is called. One of the few Chevys in the bunch.
And I want to tell you what, this thing's got one of the cleanest flame paint job traditional flames. They make their way a little bit into the tribal type look, but there's no room right here for this machine. He's going nowhere.
Yeah, if it was a truck show, I've got to tell you, he'd be in the hunt. I love those flames. Beautiful job there, but unfortunately, just did not have the combination picked out here tonight to be a threat for the win.
Again, we've seen it time and time again for whatever reason, and there always is one. It's no different in drag racing, in pro stock, let's say, as a category, that Dodges might be better at one track and Chevrolets might be better in another. Right here, the Chevrolets are not showing out, unfortunately.
And he lined up all the way on the left side of the track. It was the only truck we saw all night long to get over there. He was hoping he might find something nobody else had found, but it did not work out for him.
Here is the climax machine of Kyle Michael. Woo! Look at that water shooting out of there.
You can also see Kent Crowder keeping an eye on. If he could beat this one, he knows he's got it. The only other Chevy in the group and is not going to get it done at 274.70. You could hear that turbo chirp as it spooled down. Just did not have what it takes. Watch it here on the General Tire Instant Replay.
And watch this water just start shooting out of that radiator.
That's a little distracting for the driver.
Yeah. I don't know if a fire suit can keep you from the heat of that, because that is going to be warm right there.
Yeah,
Man.
Definitely not good. So problems there for the last competitor. Your winner, Kent Crowder out of Attica, Indiana, takes a Dodge to the top of the pack for Shy Diesel. And Shy Diesel dominates here this evening in both categories, Superstock Diesel and Pro Street Diesel. Let's get it down to Jim Trado.
Excited to the end. Kent Crowder was able to pull it off. Great run, 299.64. That has to be very satisfying for you to win here, especially with the Shy Diesel truck.
Yep, it is awesome to be able to take one down here in Terre Haute. Got a lot of people out here that work really hard to put this event on, and glad to be a part of it. Really exciting to get a win tonight.
Kent, who's behind this effort? Who helps work on this truck with you?
Myself, Brandon Galloway works in the shop with me. Kurt Walters works in the shop there with me, and then everybody in the Shy Diesel team, you know, has got a part in either working on the parts or just making me available to go do it. So it's a big team effort.
The fans had a great time, as did we, and we hope you did too. For Jim Trado, Brian Olson, I'm Ken Stout. Remember, you're not living unless you're on the edge.